Let's face it, planning for some of life's unexpected events, it's not always an easy thought. Horan McConaty has been serving the Denver metro area community since 1890. President and CEO John Horan and his compassionate staff regularly earned a 99% satisfaction rating from the families that they serve. President and CEO of Horan McConaty, John Horan, joins us with why pre-planning is so important. It's nice to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
You know, since 1890, you've been serving our community, and that's impressive. What do you believe is the success with what you're doing?
Well, most people don't know that Colorado is the only state in the U.S. that has virtually no regulation around this work. And so what I think has been a factor that has distinguished us from a lot of the others is our reputation, the way that we hire people that are warm, kind, compassionate, professional people. The options that we give the widest range of options so that someone can select what's just exactly right, but nothing more.
Then that's so important, because this is the most difficult time in someone's life when someone passes. So
It
you
is.
have to be there for them.
It is, and as tough as these times are, we have to look for ways to try to make this easy for people.
And I also want to point out, you're an independent owner with 7 locations. Why is that important for our viewers to know?
Well, I mean, I'm among the few where the name on the sign actually corresponds to someone who works there.
Yeah, family-owned business.
Yeah, and you know, this is in my blood. This is what I care about, and I take this very, very seriously, 7 days a week, because our work occurs every day through the night, and it's important that we do things extraordinarily well for people consistently.
Knowing you for so long and seeing some of the customers that you've had, including Frances, our former First Lady Frances Owens, you have an incredible bedside manner and help with people during this emotional time in their life.
Right. And Denise, then part of my job is to ensure that the people that I work with emulate that.
Absolutely.
That they are warm and they're kind, and they're not motivated by selling people more things than they need or anything like that. They're motivated by that sense of having felt that I've helped somebody today.
Yeah.
I've made an important difference in someone's life.
And you made an important difference in David's life. He was one of your customers. Let's take a listen.
My wife and I, Verna Renee, which we call her Renee, we met back in 1973. And we dated for a couple of years, and we got married in December of 1975. And we had a strong relationship, and we had a lot of fun raising kids. She was always there for the family. She's a wonderful woman. It was just a great match and make, and I don't regret any of it. You know, when I met Renee, I was working, and I was always kind of a car guy. And then when I got married, you know, we had the family station wagon. And as the kids became teenagers, of course, they got to have a car. So that kind of sparked me up again, because, you know, it's easier for me to fix their car than send it to a garage. I had found a car while I was at work, a 57 Ford Ranchero. It was a rancher's car. I was at the stock show, and he drove by with the for sale sign on it. So I chased him down and stopped him. We connected up, and I bought it from him and brought it home. Behold, I restored it to a hot rod, and I did everything on that car, and she was right there with me. That was the start of us branching out from just being parents and raising kids. It gave us another interest, and she took an interest in it all the way. She came out in that garage and helped me do that stuff, and we were putting bolts on, and she's underneath there holding the bumper brackets up, and I'm bolting them up, and she's turning the wrench too. She was very involved in that car. And that made me very proud, because, you know, it wasn't something that it was my hobby. It was our thing. And she liked to sport around town in that car. She was proud of it. She designed the interior of the car for a little design that wasn't too obnoxious, and picked the color, because a yellow car, you got to have the right color interior. I love it, and I get a lot of comments on it. 2010, she unexpectedly died very suddenly in one day. That was one of the saddest days that I'll never, ever forget. I relive it pretty regular, because it was a loss of a person in this world that did nothing but love people and give out goodness. When I was blindsided with a death with no forewarning with Renee, the turmoil that even created for us, you know, my family had grown, they had kids of their own and grandkids, and I mean, I was totally lost. And I didn't hesitate at all. I told my kids, we're going with Horan McConaty. It was just the best thing I ever did, and I'm so grateful for John and Horan McConaty and their staff that to this day, they're wonderful people. And I still participate in things because they sponsored a Heartlight Center, which is for grieving people, and I joined a widowers group there. And that helped me. I went there for 2 years, and that helped me tremendously because they know what people need and they're willing to help, and not just at the time of service. It's through your life and through other things. Trust with the funeral home is extremely important because this is the last handling of your loved one that's going to happen. And you want it to be gentle, loving, and respectful. This is a life-changing event, and you have to trust somebody with it because they're going to be with us forever, and they take care of business, and I trust them fully. That car has not changed since she passed, and it's not going to. That's my favorite car.
What an amazing man. It's going to make me cry. Wonderful soul. He loved his wife.
He's a kind and courageous man.
Gosh, and he speaks highly of you, so that was the most important part of his life, and you were there for him, which is huge. If someone calls today, they'll receive a Live Well, Leave Well planning guide and DVD. They can also request a free consultation. How are all these tools helpful?
By planning in advance, it makes things so much easier. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of things that people are thinking about that have to be done right away when someone dies. But if someone plans in advance, so many of those things can be done. And we can worry about, the family can worry about other things,
right,
you know, such as being together and leaning toward their grief and doing the things that are more important to them than locating a military discharge or finding the photos that they need or that sort of thing. So much of that we can do in advance.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You are changing lives and helping people for sure. Thank you for coming on the show.
It's an honor.
Again, as you just heard from David, what a great man. He was a retired police officer, by the way. Life can throw unexpected events at us, and he reminds us all that it's so important to have those around you that can help with the emotional and financial burden during a difficult time. Horan McConaty is Colorado's most preferred locally owned cremation, burial, and pre-planning provider. Their website is horancares.com. They have a full list of services and resources, including grief support. You can also call 303-743-8804 to ask for a free consultation, along with the Live Well, Leave Well DVD and planning guide. Just mention that you saw him right here on our show, Colorado and Company. Horan and McConaty paid for this segment. Stay with us. We'll be back for the second half of Colorado and Company in just a few moments.